Afternoon, everybody. Glad to see you here. I'm Lindsay Besser-Hank. I'm the Director of Global Service at Leprino Foods. I actually was hoping we could, we're invoking Lou all over the place, it seems, this afternoon. So I was hoping that we could get just a little participation before I introduce our speaker that everyone's really here to see. I have a very desirable mug filled with a plethora of goods for anyone who can tell me what Leprino Foods does. Yes, look at this, front row.
Leprino is the largest exporter and importer of cheese.
Oh, very, very close. We will give that to you. We're the #1 manufacturer of mozzarella cheese in the world, and we're the #1 exporter of lactose in the United States. I have, thank you very much. #2, a cooler bag, perfect for a sunny afternoon like today, filled again with some very desirable items. If you can tell me the #1 market to which Leprino exports. Yes. Oh, one of the students I met earlier. Yes.
Is it Mexico?
It is Mexico. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, we are large exporters to the Asian market as well as Mexico. Other things you may or may not know about us, but we're founded and based in Denver in the Highlands neighborhood. We're a fun, family-owned, privately held company. That's a great place to work. So if you don't know enough about us and you're interested in learning more, we do have a booth today. Be happy to meet you a little bit later out there before the day adjourns. Now, it is with great pleasure that I have the opportunity to introduce Isabella. Isabella started her own business, IZ Consulting Group, in 2018 to help CEOs, COOs, and CTOs gain competitive advantage, boost innovation, and disrupt with a purpose to drive results. She knew that businesses could be much more productive with an effective and lean workflow and robust collaboration and alignment between teams and processes. To provide the best support in assessing every business, she's a certified CTI co-active coach and a bigger game trainer. She is certified in DISC and the leadership profile and holds an ITIL certification and a higher national diploma in business administration and management from the City of Glasgow College. So I'm so happy that we have a topic of customer service in the global trade space today, and please join me in welcoming Isabella Zaczek.
Well, hello, everyone. So this is the pineapple. It really doesn't have anything to do with what I'm about to say. So there you go. It's just, I got it from Lou. I wanted it, I got it, here it is. There you go. So, thanks for the introduction, and I know the talk, lessons on global customer service from a German, why not? Well, you all probably think what could come out of it, just one word, world domination. Okay, but tongue-in-cheek, you know, it comes with being German, right? Let's play with some stereotypes here. So a bit of my background on why this topic is near and dear to my heart. I used to work for Level 3 Communications, rather big telecommunications company back in the day before they were snatched up by CenturyLink in 2017. And I had the great honor to lead the global customer operations team there. Over 130 employees worldwide looking after the top 150 brands on this planet. And let me tell you this, they're all the same. They're not really different, they just make a shitload of money. So there you go, we're done. That would be the lesson to learn. But all kidding aside, super happy to be here and just share a couple of thoughts with you of what I think is important when you lead a global team. So what does it mean to operate globally? Obviously, there are the obvious external requirements like rules and regulations, competitors, infrastructure, but what about your very own business structure? What about your internal organization? How do you want to serve your global customers? And how do you stand out against local competitors and gain market share? Foremost, do you know the complexity of your market? And is that complexity perhaps a bit beyond your core capabilities of your organization, requiring you to remodel your existing customer operations model? Questions over questions. So what it really becomes is the following. The cultural iceberg. What we see and assume. I left it all like in really, really like small writing, like presentation 101 skill. So what it really just shows is what is easy to see and what don't we really see. Or what I call, this is actually what the true drivers, motivators, values, and taboos are to understand the cultural makeup of your team. They also contain the tripwires that will absolutely impact your team collaboration and building down the road. So what I said earlier before, when I was given the chance to build that global operations team for our global account division, at that point, level 3 existed, 12 years, 13 years. We didn't really have one global customer operations team, which is quite a surprise. It was all within the regions. So when my team and I came together, we went through what I call the 4 pillars of our foundation. So what we wanted to look at is at the strategy. So what industries, what types of customers, global spend, growth, and potential, who should be in that global accounts division? Where are they headquartered in? Secondly, organization. What support would make us unique? And what support is also expected in the industry? It was really about merging functions that have been scattered around the industry or the organization. And what we wanted to create is a customer flow, or as I like to say, a customer loop. I know we always talk about a journey, but for me, a journey has a start and a finish. And then what, right? I get what they want to say with it, but I just prefer the word loop, so it's repeatable, profitable, and satisfactory for everyone. Thirdly, alignment, which personally I believe is missing in many organizations, especially when global and international is just one channel within your business, like government, domestic. Sometimes global is just one of many channels, and it requires you to build specific workflows. It really needs to be cross-functional, cross-cultural, and virtual. The rules of engagement and communications are key to avoid duplication in rework, quite frankly. And last but not least, results. I love results. I'm a bit of a nerd. I love KPIs. Sue me. But anyway, what did our customers care about? What we did was a bit daring, I would say. We actually selected a small group of customers that we liked. I didn't like all of the 150, but really customers that were near and dear to my heart, whose feedback I really valued, and we asked them, is what we are about to do really in your interest? What are the KPIs you want to see? Believe me, working 18 years for a telecommunications company, we measured so many things. And I believe the more numbers you track, the more you have to explain. And most of the time, you can't really explain them because you never knew why you measured them in the first place. So it was really good to get the customer feedback on all of that. Because what I truly believe is, in order to really understand, or in order for you to understand what your team cares for, what they value, what they need to perform at their best, is building a really cohesive group that also impacts the whole customer experience. So when we talk about what is really moving the needle, right? What do we expect from our teams? You really, again, want to learn more about business customs, about traditions, really knowing what drives not only your team, but also your customers. And it's about reducing those cultural and regional silos as much as you can. I mean, don't get me wrong, there will always be silos. It's just cultural and natural, like cultural nature, right? Cultural and human nature, actually. You cannot just bring everything to zero. What I've come up with is my own 80-20 rule, right? We all heard 80-20, Pareto principle. It doesn't have anything to do with it. By the way, I made it my own. So what I mean by that is, or the way I applied it is, was 80% for me was important to be on the same page, right? It was the message, it was the philosophy, the guidance, the goals and objectives that would lead my entire team when they worked with each other, when they worked with a customer. The 20% was really dedicated to regional distinctions, rituals, preferences, and differences. Again, there will always be differences. Just accept it, right? I think we all have so many stories to tell that just because certain countries or regions don't do business our way, it is frustrating, right? Just accept it and try to turn it into an opportunity just to really gain a different business perspective. Believe me, I've been through many of those lessons. One of them I would like to share with you was actually when the company I used to work for emerged into the Middle East in 2008. So back then, I headed up the European customer service team. Let's put it this way, I faced a bunch of, how should I call it, contact barriers, because many of my customer contacts didn't really want to engage with a woman. I mean, it was 2008, it just was what it was. I will not lie, at the beginning, it was really, really frustrating because, I had a job to do. But I quickly realized that it would have really been a waste of time to convince them of what I just wanted to do, right? It's like what my role was. Instead, I did all the write-ups. I had my male peer send those emails out instead of me, and the customer was happy. So some people might argue, well, why didn't you just stand up? What I actually say is I reacted and adjusted my message to cultural demands, right? Cultural market demands at that point in time. We want happy customers, and I just learned a lesson, right? Again, one can argue someone would have done it in a different way, but for me, it's really important to understand the market, and just because I have a different experience or a different view of the world, it's probably not everyone's view of the world. So another example, is, well, before I get to that, I also believe that when you operate globally, you will always be a guest in that other country. No matter whether you manufacture, you deliver, you deploy, you will always be a guest. And as soon as a company starts to understand it, you will actually be able to grow the trust, the loyalty in that market. Again, you go into a country to sell your services, get to know the business customs. What I did put together here, going to talk about that a little bit, is some suggestions of mine how to really create a better customer experience, a better customer service, and also a great global team. Some of them I've tried, some of them, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to try, but there is always tomorrow. First up, be unorthodox and outside of your own culture. What I mean, or culture zone. The zone was swallowed. I think I swallowed it along the way. Anyway, outside of your culture zone, that's supposed to be. What I mean by that is, think about your leadership appointments. I will put out a very controversial statement at this point, and just let it sink in. One of the first things I've heard when I went to visit my customers in Asia, Latin, and South America is that they said, oh my God, we truly believe you mean what you're saying, you're building a global team, because you're actually not American. You probably, haven't figured out yet, then again, German. I was first a bit taken aback by that statement, but let it sink in a bit. They didn't mean it necessarily in a negative way towards the US. What they just wanted to see is true diversity. That someone that has lived in many countries or has lived abroad is just bringing a different perspective to it. Yes, it obviously does help that I speak a couple of languages, but again, it was more about seeing the cultural makeup of my team. I had a very diverse team. I had people come over from the Netherlands, Argentina, the US, the UK, I really wanted us to be global because I needed that help. So think about the makeup of your leadership team and whether it's really diverse. Because to be truly global, it means to have various nationalities and various languages around the table. Also, provide job opportunities outside of your headquarters and corporate offices. One of the things that always irked me, but it's the love-hate relationship that I've experienced, especially during my time living in Germany and working for an American company. Because there used to be that love-hate relationship between the continent and the UK, and between the UK and the US. So what I mean by that is, obviously, as you know, many American, but basically most non-European companies would always select London as their European headquarter. Just by nature, makes things easier, right? Same language, right there. That is until Brexit, but okay. Just smiling here a bit. But anyways, not to say anything bad about that. The reason why I'm saying that is because all the executive power was centralized in London. You wouldn't even have people from the continent apply for leadership positions because it would have meant for them to leave their regions, right? In turn, the UK felt like they could never do what they want because as soon as numbers were off or something didn't go according to plan, a US executive would swoop in and take over the reins, right? So it caused really resentment and frustration. And therefore a lack of engagement and productivity, just too much friction because of the lack of trust of what we really could do. Systems, and did I say systems? Again, I'm a huge system nerd, and the time that is wasted by not really investing in good technology, video conferencing, CRMs, is unbelievable. It's off the charts, and it's even more frustrating than anyone could imagine. Norms, what I mean by that is 2 rules of engagements again, right? Clear roles and responsibilities. Make sure everyone knows what they're doing and how their work impact the other team. You would be amazed if you would probably poll your teams that some people don't even know what some people's objectives are, if they are not, doing their work quickly, what happens down the chain. Really have that time and make that effort to really invest in structuring that. It is absolutely invaluable at the end. Bonding is probably one of the topics that is the hardest to actually realize, and what I mean by that is spending budgets, spending money, right? Especially for team meetings. I get it, when managers are scattered across regions, you cannot just fly them in every week, but at least once a year, best twice a year, have them come together to define initiatives, to do strategic plannings. Is absolutely invaluable, the greatness that happens when these managers, when these teams come together. You cannot live without them. I get it, we all want to have a good budget, want to have lean OpEx, just make sure we're not rattling the boat, but it really is important. Yes, have good systems so they can all grow together, but you cannot take away from this face-to-face. So I'm getting like the 5 minutes. Oh my God, am I done? No, I'm not, I'm gonna talk. Okay, one thing, I'm gonna wrap up real quickly. Because in case you're still at odds where to go next, I wanted to, no, where is it going? There. I wanted to leave you with this. So in case you need to find the next market you want to go to, shows you where the happy countries are. And thanks to my living in Germany, Scotland, Ireland, and the US, I'm a solid and happy 7. See, and there you thought, happy and German doesn't fit into one sentence. There you go. So, well, thanks a lot for coming. I hope you took a couple of good things away and enjoy the rest of the evening. Like, beers for everyone. Take care.